Welcome to the Nova Dreams channel. Tonight, we journey deep into the hidden universe inside your mind, a place filled with mysteries, forgotten memories, strange perceptions, and silent patterns shaping every thought you have. Together, we'll uncover some of the most fascinating psychological truths ever discovered. Some are comforting, like how a single scent can suddenly transport you back to a moment from years ago. Others are almost unbelievable, like the fact that your brain can begin making decisions before you're even aware of them. As the night grows quieter, we'll drift through remarkable mental curiosities and hidden behaviors of the human mind, where emotions can change reality, time can seem to slow or disappear, and thoughts can connect people without a single word being spoken. The deeper we go, the more you may realize that the mind is far stranger, more powerful, and more beautiful than we ever imagined during the noise of everyday life. So, whether you're here to relax, fall asleep, or simply let these ideas flow softly through your thoughts, you're in the right place. And if you enjoy these late-night explorations into psychology, mystery, and the human mind, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. But for now, get comfortable, let your breathing slow. Let the outside world fade away and allow yourself to sink gently into the wonder hidden inside your own mind. Let's begin. People often become more honest late at night. As the day fades, mental filters and social masks slowly begin to weaken. Fatigue lowers inhibition, making it easier for thoughts and emotions to slip past the barriers we usually maintain during daylight hours. In the quiet atmosphere of the night, people may reveal feelings, secrets, or truths they would normally keep hidden. Of course, not every late-night conversation is completely honest, but psychologists believe nighttime creates conditions that encourage openness. The world becomes calmer, distractions disappear, lights grow dimmer, and conversations feel more personal. In these moments, words can flow more naturally, almost as if the mind relaxes into its truest state. Many people recognize this feeling when guarded thoughts finally emerge beneath the silence of the night, and simple conversations suddenly become deeply meaningful. Multitasking, however, has the opposite effect on the mind. Although it can feel productive, constantly switching between tasks makes memory far less reliable. The brain is designed to focus deeply on one thing at a time, and when attention is divided, information begins competing for limited mental resources. As a result, memories may become incomplete, blurry, or disappear altogether. For example, checking messages while listening to someone speak can cause important details of the conversation to fade almost instantly. Even though it feels like we're doing everything at once, the brain is actually rapidly switching focus back and forth, weakening our ability to fully process and store information. Research shows that people who multitask frequently may slowly lose the ability to ignore distractions, making deep concentration harder over time. The appeal of multitasking comes from the illusion of productivity, the feeling that we're accomplishing more by doing everything at once. But the mind remembers life far more clearly when it's allowed to focus on a single moment without interruption. In a world filled with endless notifications, rapid scrolling, and constant mental switching, giving your full attention to one thing can almost feel rare. Yet the brain thrives in stillness and focus. Sometimes, slowing down is not weakness at all, but one of the healthiest gifts we can give to our minds and memories. Human touch also holds a quiet psychological power, far deeper than most people realize. A hand resting gently on your shoulder, someone holding your hand during a difficult moment, or even a simple embrace can change the way the brain experiences pain. Physical touch activates sensory pathways that compete with pain signals, reducing how intensely discomfort is felt. At the same time, it releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which lowers stress and creates feelings of safety and connection. In one remarkable study, couples who held hands during painful experiences reported feeling less pain, and researchers discovered something even more fascinating. Their brain activity began to synchronize. It was as though two nervous systems briefly moved together in harmony. This suggests that touch does more than comfort emotionally. It can physically calm the body itself. In moments of fear, sadness, or exhaustion, even the gentlest touch can become an anchor, quietly reminding us that we do not carry suffering alone. Sometimes the smallest gestures contain the deepest healing. Scent, too, has an extraordinary influence over the mind, often affecting decisions before we even become aware of it. Unlike other senses, smell travels directly to regions of the brain connected to emotion and memory, bypassing much of conscious thought. Because of this, certain scents can subtly shape mood, behavior, and judgment without us noticing. Experiments have shown that pleasant smells in stores can increase the chances of people making purchases, while the scent of cleaning products can encourage tidiness and organization. Lavender may create feelings of calmness and relaxation, while citrus scents often trigger sensations of freshness, alertness, and energy. These invisible influences quietly guide the mind through associations built over years of experience. We often like to believe our choices are entirely logical, but the human mind is constantly responding to hidden sensory signals beneath awareness. Understanding this can be strangely empowering, revealing just how much our environment silently shapes the way we feel, think, and act. Even sleep itself may not be entirely what it seems. In a fascinating psychological phenomenon known as placebo sleep, simply believing you slept well can improve your mood, focus, and mental performance the next day, even if your actual sleep was poor. In one study, participants who were told they had experienced high-quality sleep performed significantly better on cognitive tasks, regardless of how much rest they truly received. This reveals something extraordinary about the brain. Expectation alone can influence energy levels, concentration, and physical sensation. The mind often responds not only to reality itself, but to the story we believe about reality. Of course, true sleep remains essential for health and recovery. But placebo sleep highlights the surprising connection between belief and the body. Part of feeling rested may come not only from sleep itself, but from the quiet conviction that we are restored. Many people have also experienced the strange sensation of suddenly feeling watched, only to turn around and discover someone staring directly at them. Science has never fully explained this eerie experience, but researchers believe the brain may unconsciously detect subtle environmental cues, tiny shifts in movement, changes in peripheral vision, or faint sounds too quiet for conscious awareness. The human mind evolved to constantly monitor social attention because throughout history, recognizing when eyes were focused on us could mean the difference between safety and danger. Evolutionary psychologists believe this sensitivity helped our ancestors avoid threats and navigate complex social environments. Whether it comes from unconscious perception or something deeper and more instinctive, the feeling can be incredibly powerful, prompting us to react before we even understand why. It may be the whisper of an ancient survival system still quietly active within us. Body language reveals another hidden layer of the mind. Psychologists have found that these subtle signals are often visible to other people before we fully recognize them ourselves. In many ways, the body becomes an external reflection of the mind, quietly revealing emotions hidden beneath conscious awareness. Learning to notice your own body language can uncover stress, attraction, nervousness, or excitement that words may fail to express. And understanding the silent signals of others can deepen empathy. helping us connect on a level beyond conversation alone. This unspoken language moves beside speech at all times, and sometimes it tells the truth more honestly than words ever could. In quiet moments of self-reflection, simply noticing how your body sits, moves, or tenses can feel almost like overhearing the thoughts your mind has not yet spoken aloud. Smell carries another extraordinary power hidden deep within human psychology. Of all the senses, scent is most closely tied to memory. Unlike sight or sound, smells travel directly into the brain's emotional and memory centers, connecting instantly with feelings stored long ago. That's why the faintest trace of perfume, rain falling on warm pavement, or the aroma of a childhood meal can suddenly pull you backward through time with astonishing clarity. These scent-triggered memories are often vivid and emotional, even when the experiences themselves happened decades earlier. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as the Proust effect, inspired by the writer who described how tasting a small cake instantly transported him back into forgotten moments of childhood. Experiences like these reveal something beautiful about the human mind. Memories are not stored like files in a cabinet. They exist more like hidden landscapes, waiting quietly beneath the surface, and certain scents become keys capable of unlocking doors we thought had long been sealed. Dreaming itself also holds mysteries far stranger than many people realize. In lucid dreams, a person becomes aware that they are dreaming while the dream is still unfolding. And with that awareness comes something remarkable: the ability to shape the dream world itself. People who experience lucid dreaming often describe soaring through the sky, breathing beneath oceans, or changing the events of the dream as though they were directing a story in real time. Psychologists believe lucid dreams occur when parts of the brain connected to self-awareness awaken during sleep while the dream state continues. For some people, lucid dreams happen naturally. Others learn to trigger them through techniques like reality checks, meditation, or keeping dream journals beside the bed. Research has even suggested that practicing skills inside lucid dreams may improve real-world performance after waking. But beyond science or practical benefits, lucid dreaming reveals something deeper about the mind itself. It reminds us that the human brain can create entire worlds filled with emotion, detail, sensation, and meaning. Worlds so convincing they feel completely real while we inhabit them. And within those dreamscapes, we become both the explorer and the creator at the same time. The mind also has a curious habit of clinging to unfinished things. Imagine stepping away from a task before it's complete, only to find it lingering in your thoughts for hours afterward. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency for unfinished tasks to remain more memorable than completed ones. The brain treats incomplete activities like open loops that still require attention. This likely evolved as a survival advantage, helping humans remember important responsibilities that could not yet be forgotten. But in modern life, this same mechanism can become exhausting, replaying unfinished work, unresolved conversations, or unanswered worries late into the night. Researchers believe unfinished tasks create a subtle mental tension, and completing them releases that pressure. This may explain why writing a to-do list often feels calming even before anything is accomplished. Simply organizing the task reassures the brain that it has not been forgotten. The Zeigarnik effect can motivate us to finish what we start, but it can also quietly fuel anxiety when too many mental loops remain open at once. It is another reminder that the mind rarely enjoys leaving stories unfinished. Gratitude, however, appears to have the opposite effect on the nervous system. Far more than simple politeness, genuine gratitude can physically change the chemistry of the body. Studies show that people who regularly focus on what they are thankful for often have lower levels of cortisol, the hormone most closely associated with stress. Practices such as gratitude journaling or reflecting on positive experiences before sleep have also been linked to increased activity in brain regions connected to empathy, emotional warmth, and happiness, and these effects extend far beyond mood alone. Research suggests gratitude may strengthen the immune system, improve sleep quality, support heart health, and create a greater sense of emotional resilience. Psychologists believe gratitude gently shifts attention away from scarcity and toward abundance. Instead of focusing on what is missing, the mind begins noticing what is already present: safety, connection, warmth, friendship, small moments of peace. Over time, this shift can quietly reshape the emotional landscape of everyday life, reminding us that even in difficult seasons, the mind still has the ability to find light. In this way, gratitude gently quiets the mind, and when the mind relaxes, the body often follows. Even a single grateful thought, held softly for a few moments, can move through the nervous system like a calming wave, easing tension in ways we rarely notice. The human mind is also capable of responding to messages it barely even perceives. In psychology, this is known as subliminal priming, the process where images, words, or signals are presented so quickly or subtly that they never fully enter conscious awareness, yet still influence thoughts, emotions, or behavior. In certain experiments, researchers flashed positive or negative words for only a fraction of a second before showing participants neutral images. Remarkably, those hidden words still affected how the images were emotionally interpreted. Although popular culture often exaggerates subliminal influence, the real effect is usually far more subtle than dramatic mind control. Still, it reveals something fascinating about human perception. Conscious awareness is only a small part of what the brain processes each moment. Beneath the surface, the mind is constantly absorbing patterns, filtering signals, and forming impressions without ever informing us directly. These hidden influences may quietly shape our moods, decisions, and reactions, leaving behind feelings we cannot fully explain. Tiny whispers from the edges of awareness. Music holds a similarly mysterious power over memory. A single song can instantly transport someone back to a forgotten season of life. A school hallway, a late night drive, a summer afternoon, or the memory of someone not seen in years. Few things reconnect us to emotion as powerfully or as suddenly as music does. Psychologists believe this happens because music activates multiple regions of the brain at the same time, including areas linked to sound, movement, emotion, and long-term memory. Melody, rhythm, and lyrics combine to create an emotional imprint far deeper than ordinary experiences. And when the same music returns years later, those emotions often return with it. For individuals living with conditions like Alzheimer's disease, familiar songs can sometimes awaken remarkable moments of clarity. People who struggle to remember names or conversations may still sing lyrics perfectly from memory. Researchers believe music acts as a powerful retrieval key, unlocking pathways that time and illness cannot completely erase. It is a beautiful reminder that memories are rarely truly gone. Sometimes they are simply waiting for the right sound to call them home again. Hope itself may also carry more power than we imagine. Studies have shown that optimistic people often recover more quickly from illness, respond better to medical treatment, and experience lower rates of certain chronic conditions. Optimism appears to reduce harmful stress responses within the body, encourage healthier habits, and even strengthen immune function. This does not mean pretending suffering does not exist or forcing happiness during painful moments. True optimism is not denial. It is the quiet belief that healing, growth, or change is still possible even during difficulty. Psychologists suggest that hopeful people are more likely to continue rehabilitation, follow medical advice, and maintain the emotional resilience necessary for recovery. While the body works silently to heal itself, the mind's outlook can influence the process in subtle but meaningful ways. In this sense, hope becomes more than emotion alone. It becomes a kind of invisible medicine carried quietly through every breath and heartbeat. The human brain is also deeply drawn towards social information, especially gossip. Long ago, our ancestors survived in small groups where understanding who could be trusted was essential for safety and cooperation. Because of this, the brain evolved to pay close attention to stories about other people's behavior. Research shows that people are far more likely to remember information involving betrayal, dishonesty, or social conflict than neutral facts or descriptions. Gossip activates regions of the brain connected to social reasoning, helping us store information that may feel important for navigating relationships and group dynamics. Although gossip can certainly be harmful, psychologists believe it may also serve an evolutionary purpose by helping communities maintain social norms and recognize potential risks. Even today, rumors and dramatic stories spread faster than ordinary information, whether whispered around ancient campfires or shared instantly online. The mind remains intensely fascinated by the actions, intentions, and secrets of others. Another strange phenomenon that fascinates psychologists is déjà vu, the eerie sensation that a moment currently happening has somehow already been experienced before. Although science still does not fully understand it, one leading theory suggests déjà vu occurs when the brain's recognition systems briefly misfire, creating a false sense of familiarity. This may happen when a present experience unconsciously resembles fragments of older memories, even if the original memory cannot be consciously recalled. Brain imaging studies point toward the temporal lobe, particularly areas connected to memory and recognition, as playing an important role in this sensation. For most people, déjà vu lasts only a few seconds before fading away. Yet, during that brief moment, reality can feel strangely distorted, as though the present overlaps with the shadow of a forgotten past. It reminds us that perception is not a flawless recording of reality. The brain is constantly interpreting, reconstructing, and predicting experience. And sometimes, its internal storyteller moves slightly ahead of the moment itself. Nervousness can reveal itself through another subtle psychological pattern, the speed of our speech. When anxiety rises, people often begin talking faster without even realizing it. This happens because the body's fight or flight response increases heart rate, breathing, and mental urgency. Thoughts begin racing forward, and speech struggles to keep up. And yet, despite everything science has uncovered about the brain, its greatest mysteries still remain unsolved. We can observe electrical signals flashing between neurons, map different regions of the brain, and watch thoughts leave faint patterns of activity across the mind. But the deeper questions, how consciousness emerges, why memories feel alive and emotional, or how awareness itself exists, still remain beyond complete understanding. Some regions of the brain continue to puzzle neuroscientists, with functions only partially understood or not fully explained at all. The networks connecting billions of neurons are so intricate that they surpass even the most advanced technology humans have created. And with every discovery comes another layer of unanswered questions, reminding us that we have explored only a small fraction of the universe hidden within our own minds. The brain is often compared to an ocean. We have studied the surface, charted certain currents, and illuminated a few shallow waters. Yet vast depths still remain dark and unknown. Entire continents of understanding may still wait beneath the surface, hidden in silence. In quiet moments between thoughts, we are reminded of something profound. The mind is not merely a biological machine. It is a mystery we live inside every day of our lives. Perhaps even more surprising is the fact that most of our thoughts are not entirely new. Research suggests that much of what people think about each day is simply repeated from the day before. Familiar worries, routines, reflections, and mental habits replaying themselves in slightly altered forms. This repetition helps create stability and predictability, but it can also trap us inside old patterns of thinking. The brain naturally favors efficiency, and reusing established neural pathways requires far less energy than creating entirely new ones. In many ways, the mind prefers familiar roads over unexplored territory. But when we expose ourselves to new experiences, learn unfamiliar skills, travel somewhere different, or even take a new route through our daily routine, the brain begins forming fresh connections. Suddenly, awareness sharpens, life feels more vivid, the mind awakens from autopilot and enters the present moment again. Most thoughts move along familiar trails worn deep over years of repetition. Yet every now and then, we step beyond those paths and discover entirely new landscapes hidden within ourselves. Even something as ordinary as a yawn reveals the strange interconnectedness of the human mind. One person yawns, and moments later someone else follows instinctively, often without realizing it. This contagious effect spreads not only among humans, but also among chimpanzees, dogs, and even certain species of birds. Psychologists believe contagious yawning may be linked to empathy and social bonding. Humans unconsciously mirror the behaviors and emotional states of those around them, reinforcing connection within groups. Interestingly, people are more likely to catch a yawn from someone emotionally close to them, like a friend or family member. Reality, as we experience it, is partly constructed by the brain itself, stitched together from focused attention, expectation, and memory so smoothly that we rarely notice the missing pieces. Even emotions can sometimes be influenced from the outside inward. Psychologists call this the facial feedback hypothesis. The idea that facial expressions can shape emotional experience rather than simply reflect it. Surprisingly, the simple act of smiling can gently influence the brain toward a more positive emotional state, even if the smile begins artificially. When facial muscles associated with smiling activate, they send signals back to the brain that may encourage the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, chemicals connected to pleasure, calmness, and emotional balance. The effect is not powerful enough to erase genuine pain or sadness, but it can create a subtle shift in mood. The reverse can also happen. Constant frowning, tension, or scowling may reinforce stress and frustration within the nervous system. This connection between body and emotion explains why some meditation practices encourage a soft, peaceful smile during breathing exercises, not as forced happiness, but as a gentle signal of safety and calm. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, influencing one another constantly in ways we rarely notice. Sometimes emotional change begins not with a thought, but with a small physical gesture. Attraction works in similarly mysterious ways beneath conscious awareness. Although we often believe attraction is entirely based on conscious choice, many of its strongest influences operate silently within the subconscious mind. Tiny details, facial symmetry, voice tone, posture, scent, eye movement, and even subtle expressions can trigger powerful responses rooted in biology, memory, and personal experience. Evolutionary psychologists suggest some preferences may relate to unconscious signals of health and compatibility, while others are shaped by childhood experiences, cultural influences, and emotional associations built over time. The subconscious mind quietly gathers these hidden cues, weaving together impressions before conscious thought fully catches up. Sometimes a person feels instantly familiar, comforting, or magnetic without us understanding exactly why. Attraction is rarely one simple decision. It is the result of countless invisible calculations unfolding beneath awareness, shaped by memory, instinct, emotion, and experience all at once. And perhaps that is what makes the human mind so endlessly fascinating. Beneath every thought, every emotion, every memory, and every quiet instinct, there exists an invisible world constantly shaping who we are. A world we live inside every moment, yet may never fully understand. Tonight, we wandered through only a small corner of that hidden universe, exploring the strange powers of memory, emotion, perception, dreams, connection, and consciousness itself. And even now, as your thoughts begin to slow and the night grows quieter around you, your mind continues its silent work, interpreting, imagining, remembering, and dreaming beneath awareness. So, as this journey comes to an end, allow yourself to relax completely. Let the weight of the day drift away. Let your breathing grow slower, softer, calmer, and remember that inside your mind exists a universe more vast and mysterious than we often realize, filled with hidden patterns, forgotten memories, and endless wonders still waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining Nova Dreams tonight. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of psychology and the human mind, be sure to like, subscribe, and return again for more late-night explorations designed to relax, inspire, and gently guide you into sleep. Until next time, close your eyes, quiet your thoughts, and drift peacefully into the unknown.